Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the universe, this is Roster Watch. My name is Alex Dunlap. I'm joined by Cody Carpentier. And Cody, today what good news. We've had two fresh new mock drafts from NFL.com drop on us. Charles Davis and Bucky Brooks both releasing their Charles Davis 2.0, Bucky Brooks, it's probably his 10th or something by now at this point. But interesting to me, with the way that these have played out at the very beginning. Your thoughts?
I think they're interesting. They're a little bit different, I guess. A lot of people have different thoughts. I was listening to McShay this morning, and he was walking through and really focusing in on these top three selections, which I think will be a big conversation point, at least probably for the next week until a little bit more comes to fruition. Shador Sanders has his pro day. I think it's April 4th or maybe April 7th, so it's about a week away. Cam obviously just had his. Within hours of Cam Ward's pro day, you see the Giants go out, sign their second quarterback in Russ. Does that show their hands, or does this give us kind of a kickback to back when the Jets signed Geno Smith? They had somebody else on the roster. Gosh, I just read this the other day, and then they drafted Sam Darnold. So they had signed two free agent quarterbacks. Then they drafted Sam Darnold, traded Geno to the Giants, and then obviously the rest was history with that whole situation. But it's not unprecedented that a team would sign two free agent veterans and then still draft a quarterback in the top 10. So there's still thought that the Giants could do that.
Really?
I don't believe it. I don't think it'll happen but if you're the Giants, if you're Joe Shane and you're like, well, I missed big on Jaden Daniels last year, and I go home every night and my son tells me it, and he knows, like, if I don't find a quarterback and I don't win 9 games this year, I'm in deep doo-doo. I would throw as many resources at the position as possible if you're thinking from that perspective. From my perspective, and maybe your perspective, it would be, I want the best player that's going to help me, bring this team closer together, which is going to be the Hunter Abdul Carter type. We talked about that yesterday, but from saving your job perspective, you're getting to throw really, it's like 2 darts, but really you got 3 players here. Jameis Winston's not going to be looked at as like this guy that's going to come in and save the franchise or anything. But if Russ hits, you got him. And if Shador never has to take a snap during the season, or Jackson Dart never has to take a snap this season because Russ plays so well, you just bought yourself another year.
If you can get Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter and you're the Giants, which I'm not even sure that you can now at this point, because it's like both of these mocks, they have
sorry, 1 sec.
They have Shador going at number
2 overall
2 to the Cleveland Browns, and this is despite reporting from Adam Schefter that we got yesterday. Was that yesterday or this morning whenever he said on NFL Live that we have a good old fashioned, like, I guess, a source off here, right? Because he was saying that he thought that the pick would be, I believe it was Abdul Carter, that he said he thought that the pick would be at 2 for Cleveland. And I mean, that could be smoke screen stuff. You never know. If that's the case and you get to number 3 with the Giants, then you're down to only Travis Hunter, and it would make sense because, for all the reasons that we talked about yesterday, they have a need at corner. It would be a dynamic guy on the other side of Malik Neighbors. And also, I almost think if they had the choice between Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, as they actually do in both of these mocks, I think that the correct mock is the Bucky Brooks mock, where they would indeed take Travis Hunter over Abdul Carter just because they already have Brian Burns and they have Kayvon Thibodeau. And I guess you can never have enough edge rush guys, right? But it feels like if you're talking about two superstars, the people are saying they're the 2 best in the 2 best in the draft. I mean, we say, you're picking this high, pick the best player, but at some point, I guess you would pivot a little bit to need, and it feels like the bigger need would be a wide receiver / corner. given what you currently have on your roster, all other things being equal.
Do you think that there's potential for either of these two teams? We talk about grading a player. There's buckets, there's tiers, all this stuff. Do you think there's potential? Maybe this is just a 10,000-foot view. Maybe this is an idiotic question. How I view it, I think Travis Hunter is the best player in the draft. Do you think there's potential for a team up into this conversation where you're at the top of the draft? Do you think that either of these teams or potentially both might have Hunter in a tier or a bucket by himself? And do you think that that would be enough for a team just to go, it doesn't matter which one's there? If they're both there, we're taking Hunter.
Yeah,
Because I
for
don't
sure.
think Abdul Carter, I think Abdul Carter's phenomenal. He's an assassin off the edge, right? But from a grading perspective, you look at what Travis Hunter has as his entire profile. It's a better profile. It's a
I
better grade. Like I think that's the reality and something that's actually should be of the conversation. Because when they say like if they're in the same bucket, you can have a conversation, you can draft, maybe the rankings different, but if they're in the same bucket, there's a conversation there. But if it's a guy like Travis Hunter's like clearly the Giants clearly have him in the top bucket, or the New England clearly has him in the top bucket, for example, it wouldn't even be a conversation that we're all having the conversation.
Well, here's my question: how much better is Shedeur Sanders than Jackson Dart?
Well, McShay has him graded exactly the same. My only reservation with Dart is the Lane Kiffin offense. I think Dart, and here's the thing, is that I don't think either of them are better than JJ McCarthy, who was
So you're saying, oh, okay. So you're saying that if we would have run this thing out last year, that you think where would Cam Ward have fit in for you last year?
I gotta pull up my sheet. I had it. I think it was. I have to pull it up.
Well, pull it up because I'd be interested. Like, do you have him more like a Drake May, or I know you don't have him like a Caleb Williams or a Jaden Daniels.
No.
Do you have him more like a Drake May, or do you have him more like a McCarthy Penix kind of? You know what I'm saying? Because you're saying that you think that JJ McCarthy's better than either Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart. So where would Cam Ward be? I think if I was doing it, I think I would have him behind Drake May.
Yeah, I think I can't find the sheet.
And with that next pick, I think that the Falcons would have,
I
let's
think
say
I
if
had
you're
it.
wrong, but I think the Falcons would have probably taken Cam Ward over Penix.
Yeah, I think I had it. Caleb, and then Jaden, and then Drake, and then Cam, and then JJ, and then Penix, and then Dart, and Shook, and McCord, and then Rattler, and then Quinn, and then Milrow.
So you have Milrow after all those guys. What about Will Howard?
After.
Okay, so all right. So if that's the case, so you're saying that, and I feel like it's probably a good proxy to get this. If Shedeur doesn't go in these top 3 picks, if he doesn't go, so he's not going to the Titans, we can just mark that thing up as Cam Ward at this time.
Yep.
If Cleveland goes Abdul Carter, then the Giants are absolutely going to. I think they'll go Travis Hunter, unless, like you said, they don't really have that. There's enough at quarterback to where you can get by for a year between Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston.
And you can double dip. You can hit the defensive player in Abdul Carter or the cross positional guy in Travis Hunter, and you can come back. They pick at 35?
Yeah.
Like you can trade up from 35. They got 5 picks in the top 100, I
How
think.
far do you need to trade up if you want Dart?
Probably ahead of Seattle.
Well, here we scroll down. Okay, well, you don't have to scroll down on that mock. I can look at mine, but it's like, it, you don't think the teams are going to be. You don't think number 9 to the Saints is something where you think no, because I feel like if the Saints were going to take a quarterback at that point, Shedeur Sanders would have dropped to them.
Correct.
So the Saints are a possible place to take Shedeur Sanders off the board. I don't think it's a lock that they take him off the board at that point. I'm wondering where the next sort of
Well, I mean, the Jets are there at 7 as well. Like the Jets, they gave them Tyler Warren in this mock, and Charles Davis gave them Tyler. They both got Tyler Warren here, but in reality, like the Jets should be of question as well with Justin Fields. If Kirk Cousins can get sniped, so can Justin Fields.
right, and it's just the hard part about it is that we're not going to know anything about what Kirk Cousins does about his no trade clause until after the draft.
Yeah.
So whether that could be. Was there anything, Cody, in that no trade clause? I've already forgotten. We've talked about it. Was there anything in that no trade clause where, or in that whole discussion about the no trade clause, where he said that somehow he was going to ice Cleveland out of it?
I don't
Or
remember reading that. He's got connection to Stefanski. That's why that was always dialed in. He
no,
got
maybe
his
it was something like he would like Cleveland.
He got his bonus. I know that when the season flipped over. How about this? The Saints have traded up in round 1 6 times since 2014. So over the last 10 drafts, they traded up 7 spots for Brandon Cooks, 13 spots for Stephon Anthony, 10 spots for Ryan Ramczyk, 13 spots for Marcus Davenport, 5 spots from 16 to 11 for Chris Olave, and 11 spots for Brian Brisset. The only 3 picks they've made they didn't trade up for was Sheldon Rankins, Marshawn Lattimore, and Fuaga last year. And they're at 9 and pick 40. Are they potentially, if you get a Shador fall a little bit, like Raiders and Jets have to be on like a quarterback watch, like Jacksonville with Gladstone, a potential trade down spot with a potentially like the Saints? If what you say happens, if Sanders doesn't go right there and it's Carter and then Hunter.
Yep. Dude, I think if the Saints were to trade up, the player that I would, and they said the Saints have traded up to a pick in that area of the draft. What did you say? Possibly
5 with the Jags.
for trading up to 5?
5 with the Jags or 4 with the Patriots, I guess.
Okay, so you're not talking about trading up into the top 3?
No, this would be like the it goes Ward, Carter to the Browns, Hunter to the Giants.
Okay.
Shador's available.
If they did trade up to 3, right? And we said it was like dun, 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 dun. It's like the the
New Orleans Saints.
the New Orleans Saints have traded up for the 3rd pick. I would say that they were trading up for the other Colorado player, not Shador.
Of course. But
I
he's
think
gone.
right. Just because he like that would be if they've been aggressive about going up and getting their guy, they have a real need at corner. And they can use all the offensive weapons that they can,
Use the Garrett Wilson to the Chris Olave that they have.
It would, yeah. I mean, I think Kellen Moore would be so into that.
Yeah.
But you're not talking about that.
No, I'm talking about the Saints moving up to like 4 or 5 to get Shador if he falls out of the top 3.
Why would they do that? He's going to fall anyway.
Well, because the Jets are there at 7. As much as people have been pushing this Genty thing, like the Raiders can still go quarterback. They have Geno. It's not like Geno was like Brady or something. They could still go quarterback.
Do you think that,
or they could be the team that trades out and somebody else could be looking to trade up? What if somebody else
is Tom Brady, who one of the main reasons that they love him there as part of the new ownership group there with the Raiders is like he's going to help them finally get this quarterback thing right. And the first move he's going to make is say, we got to go get Shador Sanders.
Trying to put seats in butts or butts in seats, however you want to say it. I think so. But I don't think they have a problem putting butts in seats in Vegas because it's a fair weather city. It's always going to be full. But you get the point. More so, it's going to create buzz around.
It hadn't always been that full lately, Cody. I'm not sure if you've heard some of the report. Like,
you know what I mean? It's not about like.
I've talked to people who've been there lately. It's been like, man, this place is a little bit more dead right now than it's been.
Well, it's going to be dead, I think, naturally because you don't have the black hole like you used to, and because it's like the Chargers, where the Chargers home games are like, they're neutral site games. I think that's what Las Vegas just is because it's Las Vegas. But it creates buzz is more so the point around. And what does Mark and Al Davis always love? What does Al Davis has always loved? I know he's Mark Davis now. Al's passed, but he always loved, the shiny thing, the allure, the big thing. And Shador's the biggest thing. I mean, I know Genty's nice and stuff, but let's not get it twisted. He's a Boise State running back. Otherwise, you got Dion's son. Like,
Okay, so then let's just talk about it like this. So then, all right, and we'll talk about the rest of this mock because I think this is interesting about on Charles Davis is with Armand Membu going to the Jaguars.
yeah,
Um, is he number one? And is he also number one in Bucky's as far as the first lineman off the board, offensive line? He's
Bill
still going
Campbell.
Will Campbell.
Yeah.
Not sure how good this mock is from him.
No, I'm in favor. I'm sort of in favor of the Charles side so far.
Yeah. The let's just say for the sake of this that whether it's some cockamamie Raiders thing, which I don't think would happen, whether it's the Saints, which I don't know. I think that they would be super live to take Shadur if he fell to 9, right? So let's just, or I think that there could be some random thing where a team we wouldn't be expecting could trade up into the top 10 to take Shadur, right? Heck, couldn't what are New York's picks again? So New York picks
35.
are they at 34 or 35?
One of the two. I thought it was 35.
Tennessee, I think, is 30. What? Well, that's weird. For some reason, I have them listed as having 3, 34, 65, 99 as far as their top 3 round picks.
You're probably right then.
So, I mean,
the only other quarterback
they can move up. They have enough to where if they want, they could get Shadur and
correct
Hunter.
Correct.
They could just move up.
Correct.
And that would be a lot more expensive. You'd have to give up a 1 next year. Do you want to do that? I would say if you're Shane and you're Dable, that you would say like, well, we're not going to be here next year unless we make big moves.
That would be the ultimate nut. Wouldn't that be the ultimate just nuts for New York if they did the Caserio and he doubled
and they bring in the 2 Colorado guys?
Yeah.
Not quite. Well, you're talking.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying. Not like you're nuts from like a
Will Anderson, CJ Stroud.
It's not CJ Stroud, Will Anderson. It's the
because you're having to take a concession on the quarterback, but you're still getting the elite defender.
It's the vibration that you're bringing to the franchise.
Yeah. Okay, so you could feasibly see that happening. And so since we've established that they have the ammo to make that happen, then here if we look down, where does the Jackson Dart sort
21. They both had him coming off at 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
So gosh. And so that would be my question. If this thing does go Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, for one, the draft now begins at 4. And that's just going to be super interesting to figure, like, are we at that point, if you're the Patriots, do you trade back? Or like, I'm not sure who's going to be trading up, or maybe somebody does love Shadur and wanted to trade up. I'm not sure. But you start wondering, okay, 21 is going to be the spot where anybody who's in the Jackson Dart sweepstakes is going to want to be getting up to there, right? Up above there. Who in front of them is far, who in front of them, you could probably get something done with, man, there are a lot. I mean, some of these teams, I'm looking at like at Atlanta. I'm sure that they would love to trade back. They only have 4 picks in this entire draft. I think that's the kind of area where you'd have to get up to. And so the question is, if you were in their shoes, would you and you wanted to do this double dip. Do you like the idea of doing that for one?
Well, are you saying the double dip is that Shador falls to 15?
No.
You're saying that you go Dart Hunter.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I
Do
mean,
you
Dart is if 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 he meshes with Dayball's offense, and you think about Dart and how well he meshed with Lane Kiffin and the weaponry that he had slash it wasn't really that fantastic. It was good. Trey Harris is very good.
good? Yeah.
Juice Wells, not that. I mean, he's fine. Jordan Watkins, he's fine. But we're not talking about supreme talents. If you talk about Dart in that Giants offense with Hunter and Neighbors, I mean,
it's almost like he's been sort of, if you could say he's been Jackson Dart's been propped up artificially by the Lane Kiffin offense, yada yada yada. You can say it, and like even if that's true, he's going to a situation where he's probably going to be propped up artificially by his new offensive minded head coach's offense, and
weapon.
probably the most. I mean, no disrespect to these guys. Travis Hunter hasn't played an NFL down, but if he's concentrated on playing wide receiver, and you have him and Malik Neighbors, that could. I mean, with respect to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and to Devontae Smith and AJ Brown, it's right up there in the conversation with the two, like the best 1-2 receiving weapons punch the minute that Travis Hunter walks in the door. And so,
Yep.
it's this isn't just saying truly elite weapons. For these are truly elite weapons. So I think that makes plenty of sense. It's fascinating to me if it does fall like this. Both of these guys don't have it falling like this. What do you do at pick 4 if it doesn't fall like this, and you're New England and you can't get out of it because nobody's going to be trading up?
Oh, you're saying you're at 4 and there's no Carter or Hunter.
Yeah, and Shadur's on the board.
Well, you got Milton Williams, you got Carlton Davis, you got Stephon Diggs. What didn't you get? You didn't get a left tackle. You go Kelvin Banks. That's my play. That's my play. I understand the right tackle thought, but they got Morgan Moses, and I'm going to stand on this. I know Morgan Moses is 67 years old, but Elliot Wolf said he played right tackle. He's played right tackle. He'll be a right tackle. They didn't add anything at left. And to me, Banks is the sleeping, I don't understand why he's been suppressed or depressed so much this pre-draft process. A lot of people out there think Will Campbell's the best overall tackle. I understand it. Armand Membu, pure right side, right tackle, right guard. I mean, only one of these guys came in as a true freshman and manhandled Will Anderson and has played every week besides like one or two, maybe just one since then. And he's played at a very, 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 very high level, been a consensus top 10 pick until the last month. I think it's Banks.
I think it might be Mason Graham.
That would be, I mean, with Milton Williams, that'd be pretty.
I mean, can't you see Vrabel doing that? I know it's not all. I mean, but here's the thing: Vrabel will have a lot of say. I mean, Vrabel's an alpha. He's a total alpha. He's going to have a lot of say in any room he's in, whether he is, picking out the curtains for his house, or whether he's ordering steak for the table, or whether he is talking with Elliot Wolf about who they're going to pick. He's going to have his opinions. He's going to make them known. He's going to be a total alpha about it. So what do you think about this though? Just a couple quick other things, because we got to get out a little bit earlier today than usual, because Cody's going to be on the Sonic Truth pod today. Who's on that today with you? Is it Matt and Theo?
Yep.
All right. So make sure
tomorrow we're not having a show, right? Because you're doing Content Kings. Is that right?
Oh yeah. So yeah, but there'll still be a show here on the channel, but that won't be me and Cody. That'll be me and Matt Kelly with the the player profiler.
You have time on that
crossover? Yeah, that'll be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central.
All right.
Okay, so we have at 12. Charles Davis has the Cowboys we've seen this as the Matthew Golden spot, but he has Ted McMillan going in there to be the CeeDee Lamb's the kind of the what's it, Batman and who?
It's
Robin?
the Chase and Higgins thing.
Yeah.
This is Lamb's Higgins.
Yeah. Do you like that? I would prefer Golden.
Sure. I mean, I get it. I see it. It works. I don't hate it. I actually kind of like it for McMillan. Sure, I would prefer Golden, but I think from a style fit, I think McMillan is probably the better fit.
So Charles Davis here, he has Omari and Hampton going at 10 to the Denver Broncos. We have on the Bucky Brooks one, he has I'm sorry.
Backwards.
Bucky's got him going at 10. Charles Davis has him going at 10.
Wrong.
Bucky Brooks has him going at 10. Omari and Hampton to the Chicago Bears. Charles Davis has Omari and Hampton going at 20 to the Denver Broncos. Easy for me to say.
What do you make of this where Charles Davis says in his write-up on Omari Hampton to the Broncos, he says head coach Sean Payton acquired his joker.
That's the narrative, dude. We've been talking about who's the joker. I'm not sure that Evan Ingram's the exact joker that he's – if Taysom Hill was his joker in New Orleans, Evan Ingram does not play the Taysom Hill role. Nobody really does.
No. Like –
Evan Ingram plays the Colston Loveland role.
Their only joker, yes, you're right. The only joker in this class, if we're really, there's two. If we're calling a spade, the only jokers in this class is Hunter because of his versatility, but he's not really, and Jalen Milroe. Like if you know what I'm saying? Like, what if Sean Payton's just okie doking us all along and he's actually just going to draft Jalen Milroe in the 3rd round or 2nd round?
What? Have him play running back
and have him be Taysom Hill.
Oh my God! Hold on, dude. Heads.
I just thought of that right now, dude.
Heads would absolutely explode, but dude, it would be Cody, the bizarro nuclear joker, the complete bizarro world, the sickest puppy of all sick puppies. Could Sean Payton be that sick a puppy to say, I'm going to just go in and I'm just going to make a nuclear supercharge to this joker position, and I'm going to upgrade from Taysom Hill to Jalen Milroe?
This is Anthony Richardson. You're listening to RosterWatch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to RosterWatch.